So as we know, the U.S. has had a tax credit which rewards buyers of electric vehicles with tax credits up to $7,500. The credit extended to the first 200,000 vehicles a manufacturer produced and then steadily reduced the amount quarter by quarter until there was no tax credit for that manufacturer. This has left GM and Tesla out of a credit for over a year, with Nissan and Toyota slowly creeping up to the limit. The credit would be adjusted lower depending on the price of the car and your income level.
There was talk this year of removing that limit and giving the credit back to Tesla and GM, in addition to increasing the credit to $12,500 if the EV was made in the U.S. by union workers.
However, an amendment passed by the U.S. Senate on Tuesday gutted this bill, lowering the price of qualifying cars to $40,000 and limiting the bar for qualifying for the tax credit to Americans earning $100,000 or less per year.
Senator Deb Fischer of Nebraska said, everyday Americans are living paycheck to paycheck because of the sharp rise in costs due to Bidenflation. We shouldn't be subsidizing luxury vehicles for the rich using money from hardworking taxpayers.
So the Republican-supported amendment passed 51 to 48 when 3 Democratic senators broke ranks.
Now, this amendment has rendered this bill useless, in my opinion. It's exactly what the oil industry wants. By denying their existence and producing crap, Big Auto, and by extension, Big Oil, allowed Tesla to break into the outer bailey of their castle. Tesla did this by outperforming everything that Big Auto made. This has forced them to regroup in their inner battlements with their slimy lobbyists to adopt a new strategy. One where they'll make uncompelling vehicles with acceptable ranges to once again placate the environmentalists who will put up with their lackluster charging infrastructure and low performance for cheap, unexciting cars, while, at the same time, keeping most car buyers completely disinterested. The Model 3 absolutely proved that most people would pay more to own a car that they loved, and that's what this bill is trying to stop. Under the guise of fighting for the little guy, Big Auto is trying, once again, to slow down the adoption of EVs, and you should not stand for it.
Because what happens years after someone rich buys an EV? They sell it on the used market.
Exactly. The average price for a new car in the United States is $41,000. $41,000. And also, people who earn over $100,000 a year are always the majority of people buying new cars for that very reason. So the argument used to get this amendment passed was completely flawed because it was based on those arguments. Yet it sounds very, very good.
Right. It sounds like it's for the everyman, and we're just stopping these rich people from getting a break.
And it's like rich people are, by and large, the only people buying new cars. I mean, for most of my life and for most of your life, we didn't buy any new cars. I think Tesla was the only new cars that we ever bought. Yep. And that's just because you could really only get a Tesla if you bought one new.
Right.
I had always bought used cars, and I think most people buy used cars. So when you hear about like people spending $40,000 on a car, you're going like, are these people super rich? Yes. Yes, they are. However, the whole point of this legislation is to incentivize EV sales and EV growth.
Right.
What this is essentially doing is gutting that bill. There's not that many EVs that will sell for under $40,000. You have the Model 3 Standard Range Plus, which is a completely decent vehicle, so that's good. There's a couple other EVs that you can buy, but most new EVs coming out are going to be well over $40,000.
And what's interesting to me is I think Big Auto was behind this. I think that they lobbied for this, and they knew it was coming. And I think they knew it was going to hurt them, but it was also going to hurt Tesla more. And they're like, hey, as long as it hurts Tesla more, we're for it.
Right. I think, though, that their plan has a good chance of backfiring on Big Auto and Big Oil because Tesla has been living without tax incentives for over a year.
Yeah.
Almost a year and a half.
And demand hasn't dropped.
It has not dropped. And Tesla has had their best quarters when there has been no tax credit.
Right.
That's pretty unbelievable. So I think that this is going to absolutely backfire on manufacturers of other, soon to be EVs, because this is going to cut them down at the knees. Instead of, being able to sell the e-tron and the I-Pace and, the Lyric and other cars like that, they're not going to be able to get the tax credit on them, and they're not going to be able to sell them in vast numbers, which might have been their plan, but I think it's a stupid plan.
But I think it's important to remember the battle's not over. This was the Senate. It still has to go on to the House, and so there's still a chance that we could reconcile this. So this is the time that if you're going to call your representatives, it could make a big difference. So get on the phone and let them know how you feel.
And just see if you can have a meeting with them. See if you can, just Skype with them and just kind of talk through what it means and how the senator from Nebraska is not fooling you.
Right. Hey everybody, thanks so much for watching Now You Know Clips.
You can watch full episodes of Tesla Time News on Mondays and in-depths on Fridays. Just click the link down below to head over to the Now You Know channel.